Hi friends, welcome back. My name is Kelly and today I'm going to be doing the Please Don't You Forget About Me book tag. I was tagged by Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading and the tag was created by Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girl. So they're very simple prompts, but you can use as few or one or several books to answer these prompts. So let's get started. So the first one is clean slates, books that you've read that you don't remember anything about. Well, I have this weird thing with Agatha Christie books where I'll remember details and if I liked them, but I will completely 100% forget who the bad guy was. Like this book right here, it's from the Agatha Christie collection, Murder in Retrospect. I have no idea who the bad guy is. I read it once, probably my late teens, once like mid 20s, and I today cannot remember who the bad guy is. And I don't know why this happens with Agatha Christie books, but it's kind of a gift because I really love them. And then I can remember that I like the story details, the story, certain characters I liked in the stories, but I forget the actual plot. Not completely, but just like the actual important details of who did it, why they did it, and things like that. So it's weird, I know, but just pretty much Sleeping Murder. I've read enough times that it's gelled in my head who the bad guy is, but I don't know why so often. And it's kind of a gift, like I said, because I really enjoy it, and it's in some ways like reading it for the first time. So next, Genie's Lamp, books you wish you could forget. I've talked about some of these before. Like, I didn't even get through this, but like, I started Verity by Colleen Hoover, and I was traumatized pretty soon after starting. Like, whoa, okay, yeah, she's not probably going to be an author for me. And then, I love the Grishaverse books by Leigh Bardugo, but there were a couple of things in the first book of her Dark Academia series. Ninth House is the name of that first book, that were kind of like triggering, very I wish I could forget that. So I wish I kind of hadn't even read that book. I did not continue on with the series, even though I found the concept interesting. It was not worth it to me to continue. Forgotten Gems, books you think need more love. Okay, so this is very simple stuff, but this is a middle grade book that I read when I was probably in third or fourth grade. This is my childhood copy. It's a Newbery Award winning, so at one point it was very revered, called One-Eyed Cat by Paula Fox. And I've heard of other books talked about by Paula Fox in recent years, but I have not heard anyone mention the One-Eyed Cat. This one is about a little boy. He's like 11. He'd gotten a rifle for his birthday, and he kind of is breaking the rules and goes out to shoot it at night, and he may have hit something, and a one-eyed cat shows up, and he's wondering if he has injured the cat, if the cat is knowing that it's him that injured him. There's a lot of family stuff going on. It was a good read then, and I'm planning on sharing it with my kids one of these days eventually. Courtney Reed's and I read this a little over a year ago. This is The Black Tulip by Alexander Dumas, and it was good. I mean, it's not as good as the kind of Monte Cristo. I'm not a big fan of the Three Musketeers, but this was a really good book. Some very interesting historical facts woven in there. And I felt like it was good. And I have really never heard anybody but like Courtney and I talk about it after we first read it. So if you've read this, let me know and what you think about it. And then everyone talks about Where the Red Foam Grows, but very rarely do we hear someone talk about Summer of the Monkeys by Wilson Rawls. And To me, I love this book better. I read this actually before I read Where the Red Fern Grows. Of course, Where the Red Fern Grows is excellent, but this one is not as sad. This one had me rolling laughing. I read it to my kids a couple summers ago, and oh my gosh, they laughed so hard, so heartwarming, just like the family love there. And then it takes place in the creek banks of Oklahoma, and as an Oklahomie, I very much appreciate that. So definitely, it's one of those classic children's books that I feel is worth a read for sure. And so the last one is books that you will never forget. And I am going to try not to like talk about just Anne of Green Gables and The Secret Garden and all that, and bring up some books that have meant a lot to me that maybe I haven't talked about. I read when I was pretty young, Little Pilgrim's Progress, which was John Bunyan's book adapted for a younger child. I love that. I don't think I've talked about Les Miserables a lot on this channel by Victor Hugo, and that is such a beautiful, hard to read, but beautiful novel, you know, dealing with the French Revolution, love lost. It's just a beautiful story. One of my favorite translated books for sure. So many books. I feel like more recent reads that I've read, and I have talked about these, some that just have never left me because they've affected me and my children so much, like the Wing Feather Saga by Andrew Peterson. That's a fantasy series that also, I love fantasy, but it also brings the family love in there. And then I really have such fond memories, and I've forgotten so much of it, but I had such a fun time reading Ivanhoe in high school by Sir Walter Scott. So focusing a little bit more on some books I haven't talked a lot about when I talk about Anne of Green Gables and The Secret Garden every week. So that wraps up what I was going to say. I'm going to tag some friends. I'm going to tag Chris Reviews, Reading with Tatiana, Book Buds. Guys, Book Buds, they're so funny. They do skits. You guys have to see them. Bookstalgic, Read by Fred, and An Erudite Adventure. If you guys don't want to do it, that's okay. I like to tag people when I can, just to give them a little shout out. I hope you guys read a lot. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.